If you don't have a process, then you can't make progress. But the question is, what is the process? Like, what do we have to do in order for us to start seeing some results with our health and our fitness? And that's exactly what we are going to discuss in today's video. I'm going to break down what a process is, that it's actually a system or a workflow that you implement into your lifestyle that allows you to start to track and measure yourself as you start making progress towards the things that you're trying to achieve. So today's video comes from a coaching call that I had with my clients. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. And if you get something of value from today's video, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Now, without any further ado, let's dive into today's content. Good evening, you guys. So tonight we're going to be talking about the month's theme, which is love the process. And basically what I want to share with you guys is what the process is. You know, you probably, like, if you all have done this for any specific amount of time, you've heard your coach or you've heard people in the fitness industry, or I mean, really just in life, you've heard somebody say, you know, you got to love the process, or, you know, you got to trust the process, or you got to know the process. I mean, there's like all these different, but it's like, well, what is the process, you know? And so we're going to dive into like what that is. And like for the first little bit, I'll kind of get a little technical, like I'll share like some definitions, but like just follow along with me. Like I promise you, I'm going somewhere with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to pull up our slideshow for this evening. So, yep, here we are. Love the process. I use the scripture Galatians 6:9, which, if you're not familiar, I'm going to probably butcher it here, but it says, you know, let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due time we will reap a harvest, so long as we do not give up. And I just love that scripture because I really feel like that is an important scripture to remember, whether it's in fitness, whether it's in business, with your faith, whatever it is. It's true. It's the law of sowing and reaping. And when you are working as hard as you guys are, you know, you're showing up to your sessions, you're prepping your meals, you're going for walks, you're drinking water, you are literally watering and planting these seeds that you're, you know, trying to cultivate every single day. And it can be hard sometimes because we wonder, like, you know, am I doing this in vain? Like, maybe I'm not seeing the changes in the mirror. Like, when am I going to get to like reap this harvest? When I'm going to get the result of my hard work, my hard labor? And that's kind of what we're learning today, is like how to love the process and get more focused on the process itself, excuse me, rather than the outcome. And, you know, that's kind of the big distinguishing factor between a lot of your, you know, world-class athletes, all-time, you know, best actors, your world-class entrepreneurs, these people who have like gone to crazy lengths, as they were able to separate themselves from the outcome and just focus on the process. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. So, but the first thing is like, what is a process? Like, Chase, you keep saying the word process. Like, what does that mean? And like I said, you guys, I'm going to start with a couple of definitions. And so I think you guys will appreciate this. But the process is, or the definition of a process is, a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. So many of you guys, you know, you've got a goal for yourself, you know, whether it's, hey, I'm trying to lose 10 pounds, or, you know, I'm trying to build some muscle, or, you know what, I'm just trying to live a healthier life. We all have a fitness goal. And there are a series of actions or steps that you have to take daily and weekly in order for you to reach this particular end that you're working towards. And so the thing is many of us, we have action steps that we take. We have things that we're doing that are actually contradictory to the goal that we want to achieve. And that means that there's something wrong with the process that we have. And so we have to change that. The second definition, which I really like, is a continuous action, operation, or series of changes taking place in a definite manner. And so the two things that stick out to me are a continuous action. I think I did a post on this the other day, and you guys may have seen it, but great fitness is extremely boring. You are doing the same things over and over and over again, right? You're waking up early and going to these workouts, and you know, you're making sure you're drinking your water, and you've got to eat so much protein with every meal. It's like all of these things that you have to do over and over and over again. And it's really boring because the fitness industry itself kind of pushes out this idea that, you know, that you need to be changing up your workouts all the time, that it's a specific fad diet that's going to get you there, that there's all these little things that you need to like be jumping on, these little trends. And I'm not discrediting them. You know, there's some of those things that are beneficial and you can incorporate in, but when you get to the foundation, when you get to the core of your program or your process, it really comes down to the continuous actions. Those are the things that are making up 80 to 90% of the results that you get. The other thing that sticks out to me is a series of changes taking place in a definite manner. Know that when you are implementing a process, there are changes happening in your daily routine or in your weekly routine that in turn have a direct and direct correlation to the outcome that you're trying to achieve. And so if you will take some of the things that you are, you know, doing every single day that are actually contradicting your result, and you put in things that actually were productive or more aligned with your goal, would you get closer to that result a lot easier? Like, yeah, for sure. Like, it's still going to take time, but you're going to be much more on the path than you are like kind of battling against yourself. And so these series of changes taking place, that means you're taking things out of the process that don't work or don't align and inputting things that do align. So I even like went in and it's like, I kind of have this thing where I like to do this, like look up the origin of words. Like you guys have heard me talk about the word commit and what it means and all that kind of stuff. But the word process, the Latin word for it is procedere. I guess I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not sure, but basically it sounds a lot like procedure, right? Doctors, when they undergo surgery or whatever it is, they have a procedure, and they even call it, hey, we're going to perform a procedure on you, right? So there's a series of things and actions and steps that they take in order to make this thing go well, hopefully, right? And so I thought that was super interesting. The second thing that I'll share with you is the English origin of the word comes from the word proceeding or to move forward, right? And so in order for us to make progress, we have to have a process. And so I thought that was really cool. What we really need is a system. We need a good, positive system to help us get where we're going. That's really what we're talking about when we talk about a process. We need a system that we can work with. But what's a system? Once again, I'll share a definition. It's a set of principles or procedures, there's that word again, that kind of connects the two, according to which something is done, an organized framework or method. And guys, you know, y'all are working with me, and I like to base my training program on principles. Why? Because principles are proven by law, right? It's not some theory that I'm using. You know, some trainers, they have, you know, hey, come try out my training method, and, you know, come try out my something system, right? And you can go and do that, and maybe you get results, maybe not. You know, it really comes down to what they're having you do and if it's based on principles or not. But the what I'm getting at is the system that I want to use, the framework that I want to provide for you is based on principles. It's proven to be true, right? And it's one of these things that you can't change it. It's one of those things that's just like written into the fabric of existence. And so that's really what we need, is a system that does that. And here's the thing, is everybody has a system. Right now you have a system. Everyone uses systems and processes in order to get the results that they want. Businesses have them, restaurants have them, you know, cosmetologists have them, doctors, nurses, you know. And I mean, Eric and Carly, I mean, y'all know firsthand, it's like people are stuck in the system, you know, because they're just trapped in that cycle, right? And so, but it's interesting. Like if you really go and study some of the best businesses, you see like the McDonald's hamburger, there is a system to how they prep and prepare that, right? And everywhere you go, it tastes the same, you know? And so it's the same thing with us. Like if we have looked at people who have gotten incredible results with their health and fitness, we can mimic or mirror that system and probably get some pretty awesome results for ourselves. And that's what we really want to do. And so really quick, I just want to ask you guys, y'all can unmute yourselves really quick. And I just want to know, like, what does y'all's process look like? Like, and I'll kind of give you a little bit of something to kind of bounce off of. But like when you wake up first thing in the morning, what's your process? You know, and anybody can kind of jump on here and share.
I'll give you mine. I'm probably not going to be on here much longer, but I have really tried to wake up early. I mean, I try my alarm set for 6:15. That's early for me because I used to get up way earlier than that. But my husband's snoring usually starts about 5:30 when he rolls over on his back and I can't go back to sleep. And so I get up and I've tried to do the same thing. I put on my coffee, I unload the dishwasher, I put a load of clothes in. When my coffee's ready, I sit down, I do some kind of Bible study some kind of
Mhm.
Bible thing. I am a compulsive overeater. So I try and look at some 12-step literature to keep me from eating compulsively. I guess I could show you my face. It Sometimes it works, and I mean, sometimes it doesn't. But I really try I'll read something about it, stick to it. Then by that time, it's time to go to exercise class, and so that's how my morning starts. But I've only been doing that a very short time, and that's what I've just learned and read and stuff. And when I was working and I had kids at home, and I mean, there wasn't any of that. And, you didn't get to sit down and drink a cup of coffee, and I mean, you were trying to
Right.
get kids fed and out the door, and so that is what I'm really trying to do, and I find that it helps me a lot because I don't know. I mean, because I will do anything to get out of exercise. Anything. And I just procrastinate and I look for stuff and I find stuff to do. And then, oh, well, it's 11 o'clock. I got to get ready to go to so and so. And then I never,
Right.
so anyway, that's that first plan in the morning. That's what people have talked about. And the stuff that I've read says that that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I mean, I love that you shared that. And I'm glad to hear that you feel like it's working for you too, because that was going to be my next question. Like, how do you feel like as you go throughout the day, like setting your tone for the day like that? So
Yeah,
that's
I'm pretty ADD, so I mean, and this is what a therapist friend of mine shared with me. I mean, I write everything down. I've gotten to where I write, go get gas, go to the bank, um, put the clothes in the dryer. I mean, I write down everything, and I got so much done the first week. The first week that I was writing everything down, I mean, the list was 2 pages long.
yeah.
But I got so much done in that time frame that I had put off for months. And so I mean, it makes me feel like organized. It makes me feel accomplished and it makes me feel,
Well, you're actually jumping ahead to later in the call, and you may or may not be on here when we get to it, but I have a big thing that I share on exactly what you just shared. So I love that. But so yeah, you can have like a system in the morning. And then also, you can have a system for like, when you're at work, like what does your system look like as soon as you step, into the office or into your workplace? Like, are you heading like straight for the coffee pot? Like, do you have like a system that you use? Like once you like get on the computer, you start getting things flowing. Like, what does that kind of look like as well? And, um, here, hold on one second, you guys. But yeah, you can have a system in all of these different things, right? When you get home, as soon as you step into the door of your house, you probably start a system. I know mine, like whenever I walk in the door of my house, like it's like automatic, like boom, my shoes are off, like, and I'm probably heading straight to the room to like change into something comfortable. Like that's kind of what I like to do is like I want to get comfortable as quickly as I can. And it's so funny because like, this is a little aside, but my son Arrow, 4 years old now, he's watched me do that. So like when he comes in, he's like same thing. He's like kicking off his shoes, like trying to get comfortable. So it's just funny how these systems, they really do direct and impact our lives. So that's really good. Stephanie, I thank you so much for sharing that. So let's dive back into this. Um, so what we need is a better system. Like I really want you guys over the next few minutes to really think about the things that you do day to day and ask yourself, like, is there a better way of going about this? And like not just even a better way, but even an easier way of going about this to where like maybe we don't have the friction against the thing that we're trying to go after, the thing that we're trying to achieve. And y'all, I know Noel's on the call and he's probably thinking of ways even beyond his health and fitness. I know he's got like a business he's running and he's probably even thinking of some things there. And so, but basically, we need a system or a process more aligned with what we want to achieve. If we can think of the things that are in our lives that are conflicting with what we're trying to do, we got to get rid of them. Like, we got to get them out and we got to put the things in. So it reminds me of the story that I have, and it will relate a lot to what Stephanie just shared. And so, guys, whenever I just started out with like health and fitness and stuff, I came across this tape of Tony Robbins. And I don't know if y'all know who Tony Robbins is, but basically it was called Your Hour of Power. And what he instructed you to do is you would wake up first thing in the morning, you would have your shoes by your bed, and before you did anything else, you would like kick your feet off, put your feet in your shoes, and you would walk outside and hit play on this tape. And basically you would be walking, he would start cueing you through like some breathing exercises. As you're breathing, he would start repeating some like, just like prompts and questions to just like kind of like get you visualizing different things in your life. And he would have, you repeating positive affirmations, things like, every way and every day and every way I'm getting better and better, just real simple stuff like that. And I would do this every single day. And I'll tell you guys, like, whenever I first started this, like, I needed a tape like this because I was in a very like bad, dark, unhappy place. You know what I mean? And so I was very fortunate to have found this, but doing this every single day, for an hour, it actually started to do something, right? So for the first 30 minutes, you're walking. And then the next thing you know, you're like at a jog and, you're repeating these affirmations to yourself. And then you get done running and you start going through like a series of exercises like push-ups, sit-ups, and all of this different stuff. And by the end of this hour, you were just like, you're just feeling incredible. You're feeling charged up. You're feeling excited. And it was a great way to set the tone for your day, because as soon as that tape ended and like the little like workout, the program thing was over, the very next thing I did was like, hey, I'm going to go make a healthy breakfast, and I'd go and I'd make something healthy and I grab it and then I'd go to work, and I would recall the way that I kind of set my tone for the day. And for me, like if I did that, the day was a win. Like anything else that I did after that was just like bonus. It was like extra credit. And so that hour of power did an incredible thing for me as far as like implementing systems to be more aligned with living a healthier life. And what was interesting is here recently, I invested in this speaking program, and they brought this concept back up, the hour of power. And basically they told you, so every day for an hour, you're going to work on the business. You're not going to work in the business. You're going to work on the business. And what you do is you have like a workflow, which is essentially like a series of things that you do. It's almost like Stephanie was talking about, like a checklist that you have that you're going to go through every single day to make sure like you're on track for getting the results or getting the feedback or getting the money or getting the opportunities that lead you to the goal that you set for yourself, right? And so the hour of power can be a crazy awesome thing for you to kind of use in order for you to get closer to your goal. Now, whether that's fitness or business or whatever, but really what I'm getting at here is the workflow. If I got one thing out of this program, it was you've got to have a workflow. And this relates to our system. This relates to our process. And a workflow is a sequence of industrial, administrative, or other processes through which a piece of work passes an initiation to completion. So from the time you set a goal to the time you complete it, your workflow is the sequence that you're going to follow until you get there. Okay. And I'm going to go deeper on this a little bit. You have to create a system, a process, or a workflow. They're really all the same thing that we're talking about here for yourself that you can stick to and that you commit to. Doesn't mean that you're perfect, but for the majority of the time, you're hitting your targets, and you're really, really pushing for that 100%. What I found is I'll tell people, hey, you know what? Perfection's not possible. You know what I mean? We're never going to be 100%. If you can do 80%, you will still get some great results. And I tell people that, but then they start shooting for the 80. So then they really come in at like 60 or 70%. And so I want to tell you, like, go for the 100, strive for the 100, because like humans, we're imperfect. There's going to be things, there's life that's going to happen to us, and we're going to come up underneath. But if we strive for it, we're going to get some awesome results. And so, so what are the key components to a great process? Like, this is where the rubber meets the road. Like, what do we need to do? What needs to be in our process to help us get our results? Okay. And I want you guys to make a note of this. Depending on where you are in your process, is where you're going to be able to decide these. So if you've been doing this for a long time, you've been seeing some great results, you already have some systems and workflows and processes in place, then you can probably add a little bit more of these objectives. If you're just starting out, I really recommend you have 3 daily objectives and 1 weekly objective. And then you kind of add as you go. Now, what are the daily objectives and the weekly objectives? And really quick, like you guys hop in here and y'all let me know, like, what do y'all think these daily objectives are to help you get to your fitness goal? Or what are some weekly objectives? And I know you guys know these because I harp on them all the time. Y'all got anything for me? So I'll share with you, okay? We're going to dive into it. Maybe. There we go. These are just a few of your daily processes that you need to have in order for you to get to your goal. Now, whether you're trying to build muscle, you're trying to burn fat, you're trying to just live a healthier life, I still believe all of these things matter. When you start getting really specific into your goal, like, hey, I'm trying to lose weight, that's when we add in another objective. And I'll share that here in a second. But guys, these are some things, and I want you guys to take a picture of this, screenshot it, write them down. But these are things that need to be a part of your daily objectives in order for you to get to your goal. Drinking at least 60 ounces of water. Guys, it probably needs to be up closer to 80 ounces of water, especially if you're working hard and you're starting to break that sweat, you're losing electrolytes. You need to be replenishing and hydrating your body. A hydrated body is a healthy body. A hydrated muscle is a healthy muscle. So you really want to make sure you're staying hydrated every single day. Okay. Walking at least 7,000 steps. I actually tell people 10,000 steps. So you got to walk at least 7,000. And what will happen, like, I don't know if you guys would track this with the watch or what you would do, but if you start walking 7,000 steps, you're going to be more active during the day. And we know, we've already covered this, that in order for us to lose weight or really just live a healthier life, we've got to move more, right? We got to move more and eat less, especially if we're trying to lose weight, right? The next one is eating at least 25 grams of protein with every meal. We covered that as far as like stimulating that muscle protein synthesis. And the reason we want to do that is so we keep our metabolic rate high. We develop that lean tone muscle that we want. And we have a body that we're like, oh yeah, man, I look good. Like whenever we like really start to shred down and stuff. Or at least 150 grams a day. Now I say at least 150 grams. For some women, it could be actually probably around 135 or more. And then for some of my men, it may be, 185, but I say 150 for everybody, just kind of as a blanket statement. And if you want more specifics regarding you, I can help you with that. For some of you guys already have. The next one's sleep. At least 7 hours of sleep. And I know that is a hard one. That is a hard one for us. But sleep, guys, that's when we're in that recovery process. You actually burn the most fat when you're sleeping and your body's recovering and your body's digesting and your body's repairing. That's why we really need to make sure that we prioritize that sleep. And then the last one is eating whole nutritious foods, right? Getting your fiber, getting your getting your vitamins, getting your nutrients, all that different stuff from these whole nutritious foods. So these are a few things that you need to do every single day. If you do all 5, that's a win for your day. If you start stacking those wins day after day after day, that's when you're going to start to really see some awesome results, right? The 6th thing that I would add in here is eating according to your goal, right? Did I stay in a caloric deficit today? Did I stay in a caloric surplus so I can gain muscle today? Did I stay at maintenance today so I can just focus on living a healthier life? You know what I'm saying? These are all things that pertain a little bit more to your individual goal, but are still important and need to be a part of that daily process. So what I would do is, if you're just starting out, choose like 2 or 3 of these things and go all in on them every single day until it becomes a part of who you are. You don't even have to think about, did I walk 7,000 steps today? Did I drink 60 ounces of water today? It's just a part of who you are. And then you start to add in some of these other things, right? And if you want to get to me individually, I'll tell you which ones matter the most. But I really think everybody who's on this call, at least, and many of the people who I'm working with right now, has the ability to incorporate all 5 of these. The thing that you should do once a week is you need to make sure, you're doing a couple of these things. You're working out at least 3 days a week. Sometimes 4 days is beneficial, sometimes 5 days, but really at least 3 days is critical for you. You need to be getting at about 150 minutes of moderate to intense activity every week. And that usually equates to about 3 times, about 45 minutes. And that kind of gets you pretty close to that mark. You add in a couple of walks and you're getting there. So that needs to be something that you're doing every week. Stepping on the scale and taking progress photos, that's something that you need to do at least once a week. Food prepping so you can set your week up for success, right? And you take a lot of that workload off of you during the week when, you're at work, or, it's a busy morning, or you come home and you're exhausted. You've got that food prepared for you. And then I like to do at least one stretch or mobility session just to keep your muscles supple and keep you injury proof, basically. And so write these things down, guys. If you could do 1 to 3 of these things every week, it's going to improve your chances of getting closer to your results. And we can talk more about all of that another time. Now, the one key thing that I will say here is that workout for everybody on this call, obviously, is probably the most important thing that you need to be focused on every week, but they all matter. They're all important. And so let's talk about a couple of tips on how to implement this process. Like, how do we make sure that we can actually make this happen? And we're going to dive a little bit deeper here in a second. But the first thing I would say is do it early. Much like Stephanie was saying, as soon as you get up, do those things that you need to do right off the gate. That was the benefit of doing that power hour. As soon as I wake up, I'm putting my shoes on and I'm going and getting it done. That way I leave absolutely no room for the rest of the day to make up an excuse, right? And so, maybe the workout first thing in the morning isn't a big, you've got that on lock. You can get that taken care of. But maybe for you, it's drinking water throughout the day that's really tough for you. Well, I would make sure that before I left the house, I drank 8 to 16 ounces. During my workout, I'm chugging water. And as soon as I got done, I'm drinking a lot of water. That way, the first part of my day, I've drank, 40, 60 ounces, whatever it is. And if I forget throughout the day, I know I kind of front loaded my day with a lot of that water. Don't worry, you're not going to die. You might have to go to the bathroom quite a bit, but you kind of adapt to it. But I say the thing that you're trying to work on, you want to do that early. You want to work on that early. So the second thing I'll say is put it on your calendar. Put it on your calendar. Make sure if it's workout, put it on there. If it's food prep, put it on there. If it's stepping on the scale, put it on your calendar. If you're like me, where you like to have a calendar, then I would say that this is an important thing for you. Noel, this would be a huge one for you, bro. Is just having this stuff on the calendar, and then not leaving it up to negotiation whenever the time comes to do it, right? The last thing I'll say, and very much like Stephanie says, is checklists. Have checklists. Like every day, hey, I got to drink my water. I got to make sure I hit my protein. I got to make sure I work out today. I got to get my steps in, and check it off every single time you do it. There's something about literally checking something off a list. It's like a dopamine spike in our brain that makes us want to keep doing it. It's like, it feels like a win. So we want to check that box again. You do that enough times and you really do start to kind of get, see some changes, right? And so what I want to do really quick is share with you guys what's known as the process of progress. Okay. And so I'm going to come over here to my whiteboard really quick. Y'all know I love my whiteboard. So let me make sure y'all can see this pretty good. Okay. I'm gonna move my mic out of the way. Make sure y'all can still hear me. So okay. And some of you guys may even be familiar with this. You may have seen this before. Okay. You guys kind of see this chart? This is something called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And you see this in everything. You see this when, you start out on a new diet plan, you start out on a new workout plan, you start out, maybe you're trying to build a business, or, you're doing stuff with your family. This is a process that's literally ingrained into so much of our lives. And I'm going to break it down for you really quick. Okay. So you have 4 essential points on this chart that we need to discuss. Okay. And then I'm going to explain what these are. And then I want to explain what it means pertaining to what we're talking about today. So let's say you start out on a fitness journey, right? When you start out, man, you're excited. You know, your friends have been telling you how awesome it is and how they've been getting these awesome results. And so you're like, okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna do this. Like, I got my gym membership, I got my new clothes. Like, I just crushed my first workout, man. I'm feeling good, right? And you get up here to the top where you're just like on cloud nine. You're like, I can't wait to get all of these awesome results. This is called peak of Mount Stupid. This is a place of unknown optimism. Like, you are super excited and eager and ambitious, but you have no clue about the journey that is ahead of you. Because then what happens right after that is, life starts to happen to you. You're not seeing the results as fast as you wanted. You have to miss a workout because you got sick. Oh, you hurt your back a little bit. All of these different things happen. Your kids start getting in the way, and you realize this is going to take a lot longer than I realized. This is called the Valley of Despair. This is called the Valley of Despair because this is where most people give up. Whenever they reach this, they go, you know what? Like, I feel like it's going to be too much work. It's not for me. My body's broken. I have a bad metabolism. And they give up, right? It's just not the right time for me. It's not the right season. And so what they do is they walk all the way back over here. This could take 3 months, 6 months, 6 years, however long it takes. And then they start to get that motivation, right? Somebody tells them about a new diet plan that's working for them. Oh, well, hold on, let me get on this. And they start to repeat this cycle where they stay stuck right here without ever really making any progress. Let me know if you've been here before. But listen, you guys got a coach who tells you what the process looks like. And if you can endure through this a little bit longer, you're going to start to realize, okay, this is going to take a little bit longer, but I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep adjusting. I'm going to keep applying. I'm going to implement this process. I'm going to implement this system. And then you come up upon what's called the slope of enlightenment. It's like, oh, I get it now. Like, this is going to take a while, right? This isn't going to be as quick and as easy as I hoped, but I'm learning. I'm starting to get some results. I'm starting to see how this actually works. And like, I'm getting the hang of this. I'm getting the feel for this, right? And I think a lot of the people who I'm working with right now, like, that's where y'all are. It's like, okay, cool. Well, I'm not getting there as quick as I can, but some things are starting to click for me. That's the slope of enlightenment. And then eventually you hit what's called, I think it's called the plateau. I hope I spelled that right. Of sustainability. This is when the system has been implemented fully. It's a part of who you are. And now you're just like running the process over and over again. Here is where achievement is. Achievement lives here. This is where you get all the results you've been working on. Love my handwriting. That's where achievement is, right? But here's something that I want you to notice. If you look right here and you look right here, this is called the confidence gap. Here, you may not feel as confident as you did here, but now you know how the process works now. And so you still have confidence, but it just ain't dumb, blind confidence, right? And so I really think that this is powerful for you to realize in your process that you have going on, is that when you start implementing these new things, like, don't get too crazy excited, like, don't get overly confident, because there's going to be some things that kind of take you down. But if you will commit to the process and you'll ride the slope of enlightenment, eventually you're going to get to achievement. And this goes with anything. Like, whenever I first learned about boxing, man, it was Father's Day last year. I didn't first learn about it, but I first started, I was like, man, I want to try this. And I go and I get a bag and some punching gloves, and I come back and I just start wailing on the bag. And man, I was like, it was sloppy. It didn't feel right. And I was off. And I was like, man, this is actually going to take a lot more time for me to learn. I had to start watching videos and all this different kind of stuff. And so, well, that's it for today's episode. If you got something of value today and you would like to see more, then you can check out my free weight loss webinar, which is found in the description. Simply click on the link and you'll get access to an hour-long webinar where I go super deep on how you can reach your weight loss goals here in 2024. So be sure to be on the lookout for the second part to this video where we dive even deeper into the process and how you can develop a love for it. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.